Tonight, we commence water with a spectacular, sensual, and stunning styles. Our conceptual challenge features craft, couture, and creativity at its finest. There is no life without water. A cavalcade of interpretive, expressive, and figurative imagery through fashion.
A teardrop for global warming. A thunderous roll, the echo vibrating through my soul. Lightning flashes miles ahead, revealing the melting ice. Moles of ice scattered in the Arctic Ocean, forming islets across the sea. A teardrop for global warming, affecting our Caribbean shores.
Frank A. Collymore withdrew his pen and wrote an exceptional poem called Hymn to the Sea. He explained that living on small islands makes it paramount and desperate for us to always remember the sea. Life comes from the sea. This dress replicates a mythical water goddess who contributes to the fulfillment of life prophecies by encasing her young at the front of her body, where it can be nurtured and protected.
Water gives birth to life, which is best represented in the vegetation, our hush, beautiful islands. She also exhibits her roots, which are made even stronger by our rich Caribbean waters. Allure Swimwear presents our Water Princess.
The tranquil sound of water splashing along the shoreline brings a soothing feeling as I walk on the sand. It's filled with exotic shells and corals. The dark brown sea moss washes upon my feet. The reflection of the blue sky flickers in the sunlight as the gentle movement of the palm trees sways gracefully in the breeze. As I walk along the shore, creating footprints in the sand. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, La Shining Mermaid of the Sea.
A dress that quenches the life of that which is hard, solid, and firm as a rock. The earth comes to life as the power of water rushes over it, but stone turns smooth as silk as the water glistens through its creases and turns the rough edges into a fine surface. Look! Feast your eyes on this masterpiece as she glides across the runway. Water encircles her bodice and wraps her soul. It's Wallings at its best, water at its roughest, and stone as smooth and soft to its very end.
Water, known as an element of life, seen in its fragile state as purified bottled water. My inspiration comes from the deepest depths of the sea, with many creatures not only live by a sip of water, but depend on it for their very existence. A tsunami is a series of huge waves that causes great devastation. And a tidal wave is an unusual, often destructive rise of water along the seashore.
As the soul of dark seas rises, when a mother mature, she rages with aggression, as she sometimes does, but also with calm tranquility, even as she is dark. Mother Nature.
Water Lily Pond, a dress designed by Lucy Giroux and Keskel Fashions. The Water Lily Pond is one of the most beautiful and enchanting ponds in Antigua. This magnificent pond can be found in different parts of the island. The water lily, also known as a metamorphosis, comes in a variety of colors and sizes. Once planted, they will thrive for years.
Researching for the challenge on the topic of water, came across a lot of ideas. However, the main thing that was constant was the factor that water was the element that generates and supports life. Water is a chemical process that is broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. To create peace, he chose to go with the idea of ice. Whenever too much hydrogen is mixed with the property of oxygen, it generates water and is then frozen to a paint. My piece reflects the Arctic Circle and the glaciers that surround it, which is a combination of too much hydrogen and oxygen. My piece also reflects, or rather aims, to highlight the fact of global warming and what it is doing to the Arctic Circle. We need to protect water as Earth's most precious natural resource. Otherwise, we risk terrible disasters.
Our Earth is crying out. Pollution is killing her. Her animals and trees are dying. Her waters are being polluted. Our beaches, some of the best in the Caribbean. Our island, lovely. But if we don't stop, think, recycle, and start to care, it will be no more. The white in the dress symbolizes the earth. at its purest state, past and present. Green, lush, and beautiful, the dark colors and debris shows what will happen if we don't stop littering and polluting our island and earth. The earth is crying. Please, will you help?
Tidal springs, inspired by the waters that surrounds the 365 beaches of Antigua and Barbuda, and dedicated to Treasure Island, an oasis for their years of service in providing us with the finest grade of distilled water. In meeting our very basic need and encouraging the conservation of water. Garment is embellished with individually handcrafted, recycled oasis waters. The clear plastic is a representation of our crystal clear waters. This portion of the garment is also decorated with the oasis water bottle labels, sand and shells found on our beaches that are formed and preserved by the waters of the sea. The ruffles at the knee and lower half of this garment represents the calming and sometimes violent movement of water as it flows from the ocean and crashes onto our shores.
Through global warming and excessive water wastage, Mother Earth is left thirsting. She knows without water, all creation will be extinct. So she calls out for help, and her answer comes in the form of this beautiful creation. Goddess of the water lilies is called. This gown is inspired from the reflection of the sun on murky water as Nafare emerged from the lake in the evening sunset. Goddess of the water lilies.
From the depths to the shore, the tricklings and the roar, the Nile River runs throughout Egypt to Ethiopia with precious stones, quartz, and gold. With colors of magnificent shades, a wonder to all. This is the precious jewels of the Nile, a depiction of the River Nile in all its glory. Roaring, yet calming. Rushing, yet soothing. To the soul, a joy to see. This precious jewel of the Nile, oh, how magnificent.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all the beautiful creations.